Hi, my name is Mitch Rabin. I'm the VP of Sales and Marketing for Opus One Music Library. We're one of the biggest music production libraries in the world. We license music for film, TV, video games, ad agencies, multimedia companies, corporations. So we're a one-stop shop for licensing music for any needs whatsoever. I grew up playing a little bit of guitar and, around a lot of bands. I grew up in Venice Beach, so we had tons of bands from, the Chili Peppers hanging out there. Grew up, one of my best friends was really good friends with the drummer of the Beach Boys, so we used to hang out with him all the time and kind of got involved in music that way. When I got out of college, I had a boring job in the financial world and decided that it would be a lot more fun to be in the music business. I went to Loyola Marymount and I was a major in business administration, marketing, and finance.
How did you get in the music business?
A friend of mine worked for David Geffen over at Geffen Records, and she told me there was a job opening there, and I went to interview, and it was starting off in the mailroom. That's where David started, so he has everyone start in the mailroom, and I thought it'd be fun. I was really bored with what I was doing in the financial world and wanted to check it out.
How long did you spend in the mailroom?
6 months.
How'd you get out of it?
Well, the good thing about being in the mailroom, why David likes people to start there, I believe, is you get to know all the functions of the company because you're always moving around from office to office and talking to everyone. So you just meet people, and when job openings come up, they ask you if you're interested in being there. So I moved on after that to the marketing department there, where I spent another 4.5 years. We did all the interaction with all the advertising and merchandising, so anything having to do with how you promote the band from a visual standpoint, with posters, stickers, advertisements for either tip sheets with radio or with consumer ads. So it was more of a helping in the creative process of the marketing plan and implementing it.
What bands did you market?
Oh, Nirvana, Guns N' Roses, Counting Crows. We had Don Henley, Peter Gabriel for the U.S., Cher, Nirvana, I think I mentioned. We had a plethora of every huge rock band. Aerosmith. At that time, we had all the biggest rock bands in the world. Well, Nirvana was already had developed its own fan base, and it was Nirvana was on an indie label, and they had put out some records, and they were out there in the marketplace already. Their main impetus, from what I understand, of signing with Geffen was Sonic Youth was signed also to Geffen, and their fans always had a hard time finding their records in stores, so Nirvana wanted to be on a major label where their fans wouldn't have a problem getting their records. But then they blew up into something much, much bigger. After Geffen, I went to work for a company called Domo Records, which was started by the manager of Kitaro, who was kind of a famous new age symphonic artist that was on Geffen. And so we started off by releasing his records, some catalog we had by him, and also we were doing other rock and pop projects and things like that too. Pretty much as my management philosophy is that people need to be responsible for themselves and do what they need to do. And if you're not doing what you need to do, then you need to find somewhere else to go and work. I mean, without being a jerk about it, really everyone has their job to do, and if they can't do it for whatever reason, then they're in the wrong business. So the music business, the way I grew up in it, is like, you can have a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work, and you got to take care of business and make sure, you're doing your best to take care of business, and hopefully it all works out. I don't micromanage people. I mean, when they first start, I spend a lot of time helping to train them, but they have to grasp what they're supposed to be doing and take the ball and run with it. Generally, in our business, you want someone that knows a bit about music, someone that is sociable to some level, because it is a very social business and it's a lot about networking, and then someone that can take the ball and run with it, because when I hire people, I like them to learn the business so they can move on to the next job, whether it's within the company that I work with or they move on to some other company. I mean, you don't want to keep people in entry-level jobs forever. So it's real important that you, at the same time, you're educating them as they're working. So it has to be someone that's, can be educated and that can move on to the next level. It's a really hard business to break into. as far as working with a record label or, it's very, very tough. It's a shrinking business. Get in at a place where you can learn a lot. Don't worry about how much you're getting paid. Just go and learn and figure out if it's something you really want to do. A lot of people start in the music business and they think it's going to be something totally different than what they find out it is. So you really have to figure out if it's something you're into, and then get a taste of a whole bunch of different departments. That's one of the great things about starting at Geffen is you really got to see how everyone worked and interacted. Working in the mailroom was a really cool way to learn a lot. And I think that's really important to see, what you're into, talk to different people in different departments and really figure out, where you want to go from there. But it's just don't worry about money, just go out and learn. That's what I would say. You have to think of it as kind of an extension to, if you went to college, an extension. You got to think of a couple of more years of just doing that without really making any money. Take whatever job you can get. I mean, it's hard enough to get a job as it is, but get in. But make sure it's a place that you're interested in and that you feel like you can learn something. If it's just you're going to sit there and not have any interaction with people, just answer the phone all day, every day, and there's no place to go from there, then it may not be a good place to be. I think that's what I always tell people is like, you want to be in the music business, find a place where you can learn and get in there. When you really work in the music business for a while, which I've been doing for 17 years now, it's a tough career to have. And it's not a career for most people. I mean, I'd say when I worked at Geffen, our turnover was, people were out of there within a year, most people. I mean, most people don't last a really long time in the music business. There's a core that do, but for everyone that starts, probably only about 10% of them last more than 5 years.
Why is that?
I think it's just not what people think it's going to be once they get into it, and I think it's very political business. There's a lot of, you got to know how to deal with people in a certain way, and it's tough to move up. It really is. You have to be at the right place in the right time. It's luck, it's hard work, it's smarts, it's street smarts, it's everything in order to get ahead in the music business. The best artist managers a lot of times are the people that the record labels don't want to deal with because they're a real pain in their side, but someone that's going to fight really hard for the artist and not accept no, not accept, well, we don't have money to do that, but we'll maybe spend some money on this and that. I mean, an artist manager has to really go out there and believe in, their act, and they have to fight hard for them. That's, to me, the most important thing. And if you want to get signed to a big label, of course, you're going to need a manager that probably knows the A&R people in those labels and the presidents of the company or whatever, so they're going to be someone that has a lot of good connections also. But if you're on a smaller level and you're looking for someone to take care of business for you, someone that can get out there and really work their butt off for you, that believes in you. Pretty much our business is all based on relationships. There's a lot of great music out in the world. Now, production music is not commercial music. It's not artist-driven music. It's more the music that you hear in the background in a film or a TV show that sets the mood. It could be suspenseful or dramatic, or it could just be a piece of muzak in the background, and it could be a rock track, but it's non-vocal stuff, and it's stuff you hear in the background in the production. Pretty much this business is based really on relationships, and if you want to work with a gaming company or a film company and the music supervisor, it's all about developing relationships with those people in order to get them to look to you first in order to fill a need that they have. So if they have a need for some up-tempo guitar rock track, hopefully they're going to call you first before any of your competitors. Pretty much with our stuff, they don't have to go to a record company to get them to clear the master rights, and then the publishing company, they can just come to us. We give them an all-in deal, and it's easy. They know it's cleared, and it's just simple for them to deal with. Generally, if it's a TV show, it's a one-time fee, and there's a couple ways that it works in our business. One is there's a blanket rate, which means they pay a certain flat fee if it's a half-hour TV show or if it's an hour show, and they can put as much of our music as they want in the show. The second way is by needle drop, which is per use. They pay a certain amount of money. And for that, whatever that fee is, it's based on what type of rights they're asking for. So,
can you explain that more?
Well, rights are, is it going to air on TV? Is it going to only be on cable, or is it going to be on network TV? Is it going to air worldwide or just in the U.S.? Do they want rights to put out that show on a DVD later on? All those kind of, each thing that they add costs them more money. So most of the time, if you're like a major company like an NBC, ABC, you're going to ask for all rights, or Universal or whatever. It's all rights, in perpetuity. They want every device now known and forever in case a new technology comes out, like mobile phones, content starting to stream over that. They want to make sure they're covered for that. If they're not in the contract, then they have to come back and relicense the music for that use, because they weren't covered for that when they did the original license with us. So being a publishing company is all about rights and what rights that you grant to someone. You don't sell anything, you license music to people. There's no sales. We don't sell a track to anyone. We license it to them for specific use. Well, what we do is we actually record music in specific genres, or we also represent our particular company, and not all of our competitors do this. We represent libraries from other territories around the world that need representation in the U.S. So we're one of the bigger libraries in the world because we represent a whole bunch of stuff from a lot of different foreign companies, including our own catalog. Our world is a growing world because there's more and more places that music's needed for productions. There's a lot more small little networks that are on DirecTV and these little small cable systems that all need to create programming that need to be, and all the programs need music put in them. So I think the world, as satellite and these cable operators that have hundreds of channels have opened up, has created more of an opportunity for us to have more clients in order to do more business. So it's a growing world, and I think there's more opportunities with mobile phones now downloading production and content. I think that there's more and more opportunities where you have millions and millions of people downloading content all the time onto their mobile phones. So that's a whole other open door that's coming, sooner rather than later. It's already happening. Everything's a marketing opportunity. It's where can you find someone that never thought about using music and tell them why it might be interesting to start using music in their business, and see if there's some kind of big opportunity out there for you that no one thought was there. Well, a music supervisor is someone that gets hired by a film company or a TV production company to find the music that's going to fit best into the production. So a lot of times they just outsource that to individuals that have their own music supervision company, and those people go out, fit the music into the production, and pick out what they're looking for in regards to music, and hopefully come to us and license the music from us. I understand from some music supervisors we deal with that at this point there's about 300 music libraries right now in the U.S. A lot of them are small, very niche libraries, but if you can imagine, if you're a music supervisor or someone that deals with music on a consistent basis, getting calls from 300 people could be a little overwhelming. We have an enormous amount of content, number one, so we are someone, a lot of our competitors can't do what we can do, where we can actually do blankets with a production blanket with a TV show and fill all their needs for a whole show. If you're a small little niche library, you may have a lot of great little rock tracks, but that might be all you have. Well, that's not going to help someone that needs various different genres of music. So we set ourselves apart that way. We pride ourselves on really good customer service, which is very important, that I'm always hammering our salespeople about, and the way that we deliver our music. We deliver it via, like I said, a hard drive, and now through the internet, and so we make it really easy for our clients to be able to find music and get what they need, which saves them time and saves them money. Yeah, we have account representatives that focus in different types of client base. So we have someone that deals with ad agencies that spends their day talking to them, someone that spends their day talking to trailer houses. We have someone that deals with corporations. A lot of corporations, which most people may or may not know, have their own production departments for their internal use, things on their website or internal videos, how to do this or how to do that, or if you're Boeing, you might have a new missile that's coming out that you're doing a video on or whatever. So we have someone that focuses in the corporate world, someone that focuses on film and TV, video games, local broadcast stations, radio networks. So we have different people that focus in different markets. We just look for smart people that really want to learn. And our thing is, when we bring interns in here, is a lot of people bring in interns and have them do a lot of mundane tasks. You always get some of that when you're an intern, but we really try and move them around the company so they learn a lot of different stuff. So we do think of interns as someone to be here to be educated, not just to, whip and have them do a whole bunch of stuff, that's super mundane all day. So we do try and make sure that we educate interns. So we want people that are smart, that can jump from desk to desk to desk and learn stuff. That's, we don't want them messing things up at the same time. So that's the main thing, is they're going to work hard and they seem smart enough to really learn. If you really want to break in the music business, being an intern is definitely something you should really do. I think the most important thing is to get out there and market themselves, get out on the road and play shows and play a lot and travel, start in one small area and then start traveling outside that area and grow it into a bigger circle or bigger and bigger radius and build a buzz about themselves. I don't think any young artist now can rely on a record label to just sign them and put them out on the road and spend a whole bunch of money on them. I think they're much better if they want to have an actual career of doing it on their own. And that means you're not staying at the Ritz-Carlton every night. You're camping out in campgrounds or doing whatever you can, eating Spam if you have to keep yourself going. But that's the way, if you really want to have a career, you build yourself up. A fan base, a story, something that they've done in order to have something to talk about. Going back to marketing plans too, of course, press is important in that, and that's important with touring. So you got to have, something as far as a plan to present the band to the press, and touring is a very, very important part of that. Do you want to sign with a major label, or is that not what you want to do? A lot of artists sign with independent labels, start off there and build themselves up. I think these days, if you have great music and you have a fan base, you can even start out just doing your, putting out your own record and selling it online and, with downloads through some of the, aggregators out there, CD Baby or whatever, where you can get on iTunes and all these places and kind of build up your story that way. And before you even think about signing with a major label. A marketing plan is an overview of everything that's going to happen in detail from, the beginning phase of the project to, launch, and then what happens after the launch. So pretty much every department has their certain input to the plan. So you have a radio plan that's included in your marketing plan. What type of artist is it? What format of radio is it going to? How is that going to get, exposed to the radio stations? What's the plan? Are you going to go after small markets first? Are you going to go after everyone at the same time? There's a whole bunch of detail depending on the record and what's going on with the artist and what you want to look at as far as the radio plan. And then you have, of course, what advertisements you're going to put, if you do even do any advertising with consumers. Is the band touring? That's a big part of the marketing plan. If they are touring, what markets are they going to? Are you going to advertise locally or not? And also your retail marketing plan, which is very important. How are you going to get retailers to buy the record? What programs maybe you're going to run with the retailers? That's a real important part of the whole thing. Every retailer sells all their space in the store. So if you're looking for getting a bunch of records on an end cap in a store where it's real visible, or in a listening station as a record label, you pay for those spaces. So you have to go out and fight for that because everyone wants those slots. So it's really important that you have great music and something behind the band in order to entice the retailer even to want you to spend money with them. Even though you are offering them money to put those CDs in those slots, it's still hard to get in there. There's only a certain limited amount of slots for, on a monthly basis in each retail store.